Coming up on the Mobile Content Creators Show.
You might sit on an old Mac, I'll be on a brand new Android phone. It doesn't matter. We can collaborate independent of hardware, and we don't have to shift heavy-duty media files, video files with a lot of data. We don't have to send them back and forth between ourselves to collaborate.
So today's topic, does video editing in the cloud mean it won't soon make any difference which device you're using?
Welcome to the Mobile Content Creators Show. If you're a mobile journalist, marketer or creative who makes content on a mobile device or for mobile audiences, you're in the right place. Keeping you up to date with the fast-moving world of mobile, here's your host and mobile video specialist, Mark Egan.
So today I'm joined by Erik Raestad, who's the Head of Video Media Solutions at WeVideo. So where are you joining me from today, Erik?
Hi Mark, nice to be with you. I'm joining you from Oslo in Norway.
Okay, great. Well, there's a rich tradition of especially mobile journalism in Norway, so we're in good hands. Now, for somebody who doesn't know WeVideo, never heard of it before in their lives, how would you explain what it is?
WeVideo it's originally a Norwegian company, startup back from 2011. We're now headquartered in Silicon Valley, in outside of San Francisco. So WeVideo is a cloud-based video editing platform. It's a cloud-based video creation platform which is accessed on a browser on wevideo.com or through mobile apps for iOS and Android. So our users use WeVideo to create videos, either as a journalist or a publisher or as a teacher or a student, or as an individual who'd like a simple way to stitch together some media clips, images, audio, to simply share a video.
Right, and I think one of the things that when I've shown people WeVideo on the phone, so whether you've got iOS or Android, they get that because it's kind of a video editing app. You can do some basic editing. But what is very unusual, what really sort of freaks people out when I first showed them, is when I open their browser, the same browser they're using to surf the internet and look at trashy websites, and they can actually then call up that footage that they potentially have shot on their phone and edit it. And the interface looks like, you're working on a normal edit software. So how does that work? So you've shot something maybe on your phone. What then happens to it, and how advanced can the editing be? Yeah,
so you can imagine this as on a desktop. When you access WeVideo on a desktop, it's kind of an iMovie, Final Cut, Adobe Premiere Lite hybrid, which essentially means that you can access a simple mode editing interface on your desktop, or you can switch to an advanced mode, which is more like a Premiere, Adobe Premiere Lite version.
So in other words, you could have the same raw material and set it up. Exactly. Oh, I'm quite a beginner, so it'll give you almost like an iMovie style interface, as opposed to hit a button and then it makes it much more complex with multiple tracks and all that kind of thing, right?
Exactly. Each individual WeVideo user has a personal account, which means that when Mark uses WeVideo on his iPhone, and you're uploading your images and video clips and audio from your iPhone, and you're stitching together an edit on your iPhone, you synchronize that edit on your phone to your WeVideo account in the cloud. We are hosted on Amazon, which means that on your personal account, which is then synchronized with your phone, all that content remains in a central repository for you. And that repository is made accessible in the desktop version by logging in on wevideo.com in a browser, in a regular browser. So you can imagine starting off on your mobile phone, out in the field. You stitch together your edit on your phone as a rough cut. You synchronize your phone, and when you get back to your desk. You log into your account and you access the same edit where you started on your phone.
And just and essentially then all the clever stuff with the editing is on the servers, isn't it, in the cloud? So in a sense, you don't necessarily have to have a particularly fantastic computer to be able to do this editing?
No. So to be a bit technical, what happens when you upload that content? The raw material is kept in full HD, in full resolution. We don't touch the raw material, but when you upload content, either from your phone or from your desktop, we automatically encode that content, which essentially means that you can upload any kind of format and from any kind of device into your account. And as part of that encoding process, we create proxy files, which are essentially low-resolution copies of the same raw material, which again means that you won't need a massive bandwidth on your connection. You can use this on your old PC or your brand new Mac or your Chromebook or your any kind of device with an internet browser or the WeVideo app. So you're completely right, Mark. This does not require any heavy-duty hardware, because we do all the processing of that video in the cloud, on our servers in the cloud.
And
so
that is obviously one of the problems that people often have, is where they got, they move into video editing. Often it can be a charity, an education organization, a newspaper, who don't have a history of the whole video side of things, and sometimes their hardware is just not up to scratch. So presumably, this is a way of taking the pressure off your local sort of devices. And who is using this in reality? What kind of clients do you have, and how are they using this?
Yeah, so we have about 16 million users of WeVideo worldwide now. Obviously, a large portion of those are in the US. One of our largest user groups are students and teachers, they are using this as an integrated part of their curriculum. That can be within any kind of subject where video is a way to prove learning. It's a way to create the video. It's a way to collaborate. It's a way to run a project, and it's a way to tell a story. And those aspects, which essentially means 21st century skills, is a massive driver for WeVideo. How video can be an integral part of modern education, essentially. So educators, students are an important group of users for WeVideo. The second group are publishers, journalists who are looking into the digital shift, which obviously happened years ago, but there are so many publishers, so many news publishers out there who are still struggling in the shift from print over to digital. That's the first massive shift we've been through. But as part of that, as part of the digital shift, and as part of the emergence of mobile units, video has become an increasingly important part of a publisher's daily life. There are many forecasts stating that most of what we consume in terms of entertainment and news online will be consumed on a mobile device in just a few years from now. So publishers need to strengthen their video content as publishers, and as part of that, they also need to shift their newsrooms. They need to shift the mindset of their journalist teams. So experienced journalists all of a sudden need simple tools to create video. That's why WeVideo comes in as a suitable tool for traditional newsrooms with with not necessarily as much experience in the video sector.
And if you were to sum up, what would be the main benefit? So if you're, say, that newspaper or a university or whatever it is, and you know you need to have a kind of video workflow, what's the benefit? Why go with cloud video editing?
So being in the cloud, I mentioned previously, Mark, that as an individual WeVideo user, you have a personal account where you upload your content, you store your content, and you can access that content on your mobile or desktop at any given time, provided you have connectivity. And doing all of that, keeping that content and processing that content in the cloud gets some quite neat opportunities for both educators and journalists. It means that this personal account that I'm having can be connected in an enterprise account or a company account for the publisher. Our accounts, Mark, can be connected together in a walled garden for the publisher we work for. That means that I can go out in the field, I can shoot an interview out in the field on my iPhone. I can make a rough cut of that interview on my iPhone, and I can synchronize it to my account. And you, sitting at the central desk in downtown London, you'll be able to log in and access that rough cut within seconds after my sync. And from your desk, you'll be able to finalize that edit and send it straight to your video platform, which is often an online video platform for publishers, which means that the final cut of this will be transported from the WeVideo cloud, in the cloud, over to an online video platform also hosted in the cloud, which means that that transfer of the final product will be a lot faster because you don't have to download content onto your computer before you upload it to the online video platform. So the collaborative aspects, the workflows get so much more efficient. They are independent of device. You might sit on an old Mac, I'll be on a brand new Android phone. It doesn't matter. We can collaborate independent of hardware, and we don't have to shift heavy-duty media files, video files with a lot of data. We don't have to send them back and forth between ourselves to collaborate. We can do that. We can go straight into a platform. We can collaborate on the very same edit without having to download and upload heavy-duty files.
Right. And, that all sounds good, but what are the main challenges? I would presume the biggest problem is that you have to make sure you've got a decent internet connection.
Yeah, so the initial uploading of content is a challenge for any user working with heavy-duty media files online. That would be a challenge either way. That challenge is about to get a lot easier to work around with new connections coming up. 4G, this platform runs perfectly smooth with a 3G, 4G, and with 5G coming up, this won't be a barrier anymore. So the initial uploading of content onto your account will be a barrier. We are looking into ways of working around that challenge as well, with smart uploaders, with functionality where you don't have to upload all of your content. You can only upload the content you're actually using in your final product, etc. So there are, from a technology standpoint, ways to work around it, but the main challenge is the initial uploading of content. Once that content is up in the cloud, you're good to go. Then you're working on the low resolution proxies and you won't be needing any kind of heavy bandwidth.
Right. And let's say I worked at a university. I wanted to train media students. Now, some of them are on all these different devices. Is there a difference between how much you can do with the editing on, say, an iPhone or an Android device? I mean, what is the actual functionality on the actual device?
So our mobile apps for iOS and Android, they are designed to They are designed to deliver a simple workflow on mobile. It's designed for the sake of simplicity, not for the sake of fulfilling every kind of feature that you need in an editing platform. So on an Android or an iOS, those two apps are quite similar. What you do is to simply access the media files on your library, access the video clips and the images on the library of your phone. You lay them out on a timeline. You can add branding to your video, which is watermarking or lower thirds, branded lower thirds, bumpers, etc. You can access your cloud library from your phone, and you can essentially build a single layer edit, add a voiceover, add music, add effects, transitions, and you can synchronize or publish that video from the phone. Right. So the phone is a lightweight mobile editor, which works together with your desktop editor once you sync what you're doing on your phone. So once you sync, you're taking to the desktop editor, and the desktop editor has two editing modes. The simple mode is quite similar to iMovie, with a single layer, a fast, simple edit style editor, or an advanced mode, which is more of a Adobe Premiere style interface with several layers, several audio layers, several video layers, transitions, advanced editing with chroma key, green screen, slow-mo, fast-mo, text effects, and whatnot. Yeah.
So we talked about phones and desktops, but how does it work if you've got something like an iPad?
With an iPad, we have an iPad app, which essentially is a strengthened version of the mobile app for iPhones. So right now, you're gonna access this on an iPad app found on the App Store. But just last week we launched a massive upgrade to the WeVideo platform, where we kicked Flash out of the platform and went full HTML. So this platform will run on a browser. It will run across a lot more devices going forward than before, because we're not dependent on Flash anymore. So this is now I'd say the premier online video editor globally now, especially as we have a very strong platform on HTML.
So in other words, at the moment you use the app on the iPad, but going forward, the kind of what you see on the desktop, you potentially may be able to do on the iPad.
I envision that, yes.
Now, obviously, there's a subscription, and you get a certain number of exports or memory depending on which kind of subscription you've got. But if you were to take the high end stuff, you've gone into a newspaper. I know you've done some in various parts of Scandinavia. How is it working there? I mean, how have they taken to it? And are they editing mostly on the desktops? Are they just using it as an uploader? Are they doing much editing in the field?
Yeah, it varies. It varies. We've onboarded WeVideo onto several news corporations in the Nordic sector. Schibsted is one of them, where about 10 newspapers are using this in a collaborative network every single day. Egmont is another company with various online sites, news sites, magazines. There are many. There are two typical ways to use our platform. Some journalists mainly use us on mobile only. They do the A to Z process on their mobile. For journalists, that's usually an iPhone 6. So they like to stay on the mobile and do everything they need on the mobile. They do the edit and they export the final video from their phone straight onto the publishing platform of the publisher. That's the first case. I'd say that about 50-60% of our journalists stick to their mobile-only solution. The second archetype of publishing usage is the situation where a field reporter uses the phone to collect raw material only. And what that field reporter does is to simply shoot the content, shoot the interview, and then upload that content into the central repository, and the central desk at the publisher takes over. They collect, they log into their account, they see that the field reporter's content is coming in, and they line up the timeline, and they publish the final video onto the publishing platform.
And are you seeing much collaboration? You know, you said there's the ability for people to, you know, bounce their backwards and forwards, access their libraries, all that kind of thing. Are people actually making use of that?
Yes, they are. They are. The synchronization from field reporters with mobile, going into sending content into a central repository for another set of people sitting at the central desk is a quite normal way to use WeVideo, and it also means that everything you do on the WeVideo platform is accessible at a later stage in the central repository. All of your edits, all your raw material, everything you've ever done with video is accessible by logging into an account, which is in a traditional setting, that content would usually be collected and stored on portable hard drives, laying around on desks and in drawers around, and it's just a simpler, more flexible way to store your content long term.
Yeah. And do you think, because when I've talked about this to people, sometimes I get the impression that there's a kind of like a mindset issue where sometimes, because, you know, people are used to having, you know, physical hardware and servers in the basement and all that kind of stuff. Do you come up against that? Do you think that there's a reason why, you know, as you say, it's growing, but do you think there's a reason why more people aren't already using the cloud? I don't see video editing as the main topic actually in that discussion. I think the mindset when we're talking about news publishers is the traditional mindset from the print related team, which is the biggest barrier. Most of our clients are in a situation where they need to start on scratch with video, and we come to their offices to deliver training on digital storytelling, training on mobile journalism, training on the use of the WeVideo platform. But what we see is that we often need to start on scratch, because the mindset of going from print to digital is one thing, but the step of going into digital storytelling with video, it's a giant leap for a lot of journalists. And we always go into the mindset of, you know, you need to learn how to crawl before you walk. So we always start off slowly by kind of introducing the lightest way of creating a video, which is 1 or 2 clips stitched together. You add some text, you add a watermark, and you might be good to go. In many settings, you're good to go. But it's the mindset, the traditional mindset of, you know, video is complex. It requires heavy hardware. It requires expensive software, and it requires experience. And we're trying to take down those barriers by saying, hey, let's use the devices you've already got. Let's use the software, which takes you 30 minutes to learn, and let's train together. Let's train together as a team. Here's WeVideo. This is a sandbox. You don't have to go live with any of that content until you're happy with the product you create.
But until then, you have what you need in a low barrier tool, which is easy to learn and easy to access. So taking away those traditional barriers of the complexity related to video is probably the biggest barrier we have.
Right. And, moving forward, do you think we're getting to the point now where all these discussions about, whether you have a Windows phone, you have this, that, which kind of laptop, that going forward, the device won't matter anymore?
Definitely. People change their mobile phones every second year, every third year. They're not used to having all that content stored locally anymore. People, corporations, companies all around using Google Apps as part of their corporate workflows. People are used to losing their device without losing all the content. Locally deployed software is not going to be the solution going forward, because we're used to the flexibility and the availability of online services running in the cloud.
So if you were to project forward, 5 years, 6, 7 years, for people who are making mobile video, whether that's for marketing, for news, whatever it is, how do you see the future looking 5, 6, 7 years down the line?
I think video content will strengthen. I think we'll see more video content out there. It will be more sophisticated. We will see relevance of that video content increasing, meaning I will be presented from a marketing perspective. I'll be presented with videos which are a lot more relevant for me than for other people, more personalized, and we'll see videos more based on storytelling, small, short narratives, stories told, than just the simple, massive amount of short clips we see today. So I think that we'll see more video content. We'll see more personalized video content, which again means that those creators of that content need to create a lot more content. Each video, the production of a video, the production time of a video will be a lot shorter than we have today, because a video is no longer something which lives online for months and months. It's something which is produced and consumed and essentially replaced with a new video within a lot shorter amount of time than we see today. So we'll be seeing more video, more relevant videos, and we'll see the need to create those videos faster in a more flexible way.
Right. Well, it's good to end it on storytelling, because I think one of the reasons that I was really impressed when I first came across WeVideo was that, the simplistic workflow and how it was making life easier, because at the end of the day, the whole point of tech is to make things easier, not to make things more complicated. So if somebody wants to find out a bit more, they're interested in what WeVideo is all about, where do they go? What do they do?
They go to WeVideo.com. They can play around with a free version of our software. We also offer free trials for educators and publishers. And if they want to have a deeper talk about this, let's suggest that they send an email to Erik with a K, Erik@WeVideo.com.
Okay, so Erik@WeVideo.com if you have got any more detailed questions. But I think you've answered many of them, and like I say, it's a really interesting idea, the whole thing about everything moving to the cloud, especially those of us who make content on mobile devices. You've got the limitations on the device, so where it's possible to make the workflow easier and perhaps get some powerful servers in the cloud working in your favor. I see that as something very interesting. So thank you very much for your time, Erik, and stay in touch.
Thanks, Mark.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe. And we'd love it if you would leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. To get in touch with Mark, go to www.purplebridgemedia.com or tweet him at Mark Egan Video.